Yeah, we never really shared values before, and I know some of you out there with your PMOs have done that whole piece where you've worked out what your mission is and what your vision is, and I'm sure you've got values as well. We're just going to share some of ours, and we hope they're not set in stone in its entirety, because we're a community-based membership organisation. It's important to us that the community can say to us, actually, we've forgotten about this, or what about that, or actually that one feels a bit,
and there's definitely a session coming up, I think, where we kind of we share these. So and to be fair, we've been pondering about these for the last short time, and we're at a point now where we think we're in the right ballpark, in terms of kind of what we're hoping for. But it would be nice to get the communities say in terms of how they feel, but very much community focused for the members.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The other one obviously is that certainly for me as a individually, I'm learning all the time, just by being around people like you that are talking to me about the good things you've been doing, the things that you're struggling with, and that gives me the ideas to find out more from you about where do we need to learn about this, and I think it's not just about for us at House of PMO looking for the new stuff. I think there's a lot to be done. I said the old only because it goes with new, but I think you know what I mean. It's about building on the foundational stuff that has been in and around PMOs for a number of years, but there's still a lot to do to help people who are might be more at the beginning of their PMO careers, or moving into this field for the first time.
I think we're continuously meeting new people as well, which gives us kind of more and more insight in terms of kind of what's happening in the real world, because what we don't want to be doing is kind of stuck in theory. So it really is about kind of bringing that kind of practical side, and we're continuing to learn by doing around the organisation.
The House of PMO is not about necessarily, it's training courses.
Absolutely not.
We've launched the qualifications. We'll talk about that in a sec, but it is more about you getting pockets of learning, the bite-sized stuff.
There's a whole knowledge management element, isn't it? It's kind of there's a whole lot of knowledge that's in people's heads because of what they do on a day-to-day basis, and it's really providing an environment where you can actually kind of share that knowledge. And I think kind of going on from that in terms of the very fact that it's kind of house and a home means that you can do some challenge, but we kind of do that in a safe space. So those of you who know me know that I have multiple children, and one of the great things that I enjoy is when they're all around the table having a good old kind of conversation and disagreeing with each other. And at the last conference, the last speaker we had was talking about actually it's the discussion and the disagreements that actually continue to do your learning, because you will start understanding other people's perspectives and how they've kind of gone through their journeys, and perhaps it may be slightly different, so you learn about kind of different contexts. So it's really interesting in terms of being able to kind of do that challenge, which reflects what we do in our day job from a PMO perspective. And it was only one of the recent events where we had the critical friend, and you would come back to me just in time. You say, well, so the critical friend, and so that kind of challenge about practicing and actually being challenged helps us to refine our thinking, our understanding of what we offer from a PMO perspective, kind of the services that we want to do and how we deliver them.
And I still want more of you to get involved in terms of challenging yourself by putting yourself out there, because like I said, for a community focus, it's about learning, and we really want to be learning from each other. That means that sometimes you've got to get out of your comfort zone and actually think about why not come and do something with us and share your story. And then that puts shudders down people, but sometimes you just got to challenge yourself, haven't you? The next one that we thought about was about ethically every day. What that means is it's really important to Eileen and I that we're running a membership organisation that has integrity, that we are running it ethically, that we're doing the right thing, not only for our members, but also for the people that are working for us, but also the kind of relationships that we have, as a one body to another. And that has to run all the way through what it is that we're doing. And it is, that we, I suppose in some ways that we're trusted to whatever we're doing around the stuff that we're putting out, that we're sharing with people, that it's good stuff. It's going to, like I say, help individuals, help PMOs, help
organisations.
So a really important one for us.
And I think that kind of, if we behave in an ethical way, then it helps us kind of go, which is kind of on to the next kind of value really, which is about this whole connections, is that we don't want to set ourselves up as a silo of we are the PMO people, we sit over here in our little house and don't let in. We have an absolutely open door, and we allow people to make connections with each other, but we also want to make connections with professional bodies, but also with kind of different organisations around the world, and different professions. So we obviously kind of work very closely with project and program managers, but also business analysts. The kind of interesting talks at the moment in terms of becoming a much more data-driven PMO about building those kind of relationships with the IT department, of all people. But we also talk about, don't we, in terms of kind of from a PMO perspective, about building relationships with HR. Now, it's been really interesting about kind of going through developing the certification about HR, not just in terms of kind of resource management, but also about the learning and development side of HR. So this whole kind of connectors, building up kind of relationships and alliances and partnerships around the industry, but also encouraging you to be able to do that in your own organisation.
Outcome driven, it's obviously the target that really matters to us. So whatever it is that you might be doing, but equally it's about being to enjoy that journey as we move towards those targets. And then prime examples, like remember the competency framework, it was a long journey. It took nearly 3 years, but we had a very clear purpose in mind. We had very clear, certainly when it comes to some of the more formal things that we're doing, like that publication, got things coming down the line over the next year, which again, very clear, more formal, outputs.
And I think we're very keen on it. We're not frightened of that journey. We recognise, that it's not going to be the quickest to get there. We know there's a lot of work involved, but we're all ready to pitch in, and it's been really great to have the community who are ready to pitch in with us, and can see where we're trying to get to. Yeah.
And finally, this one's, I suppose, a reflection on Eileen and I were talking, is that we're both pretty straightforward people. I don't know if that's because we come from the north of England.
Some of us are from the north.
I think.
Anything south of the River Tyne is near Midlands, Lindsay.
Yeah. So, but we're both from the north of England, which means that we have a propensity to perhaps say as it is. Yes. While being respectful, of course.
It reminds me with that. Remember the talk we did at Project Challenge one year, and we were talking about 7 habits of highly effective PMO managers, and we did say quite clearly that the role of the PMO managers and the PMO is to say to the organisation, when they say, "Does my bum look big in this?" As a PMO, you say, "Well, actually, yes, it bloody does." and really, it's about being able to have those really kind of quite plain conversations without being offensive, but actually say it how it is. So, and I think it very much links back to the challenge.
Yeah. So those are some of the values that we've been thinking about more recently, and I think it's a case of if you have any strong objections, we'd be more than happy to.
Well, I think there is definitely a session to kind of evolve and kind of. To kind of solidify those and get them really established, and then it'll be interesting to see how we can make sure we really embed them across the whole organisation over the next kind of 12 to 18 months.